How's it going? Today is Wednesday. We're taking a look at a wide range of opportunities available. I have covered some of those projects that would be finance opportunity, more of the digital, and we'll take a look at the manufacturing as well as defense and how we can potentially enter that market, as well as we have to cover some of the funding opportunities, in particular taking a look at AI and bias and or discrimination by AI and how this problem can be addressed and how we can source finance for that problem. I thought it would be just a good area to cover within this video and would give another kind of area that which might be important for many businesses. That would be perhaps how to secure first, if it's not something perhaps you have ever done, or location, mobile location for your business. If you yourself you already got some presence online, I would highly recommend to start with that. Once you have presence online, perhaps company's website or so, perhaps you might be interested in starting slowly and perhaps having some physical presence. And let's cover a little bit deeper in this kind of opportunities and what opportunities are available, in particular when we're taking a look at it would be holiday season, I guess. There might be a lot of leads where you can generate a lot of sales, right? I have registered for a number of letters, so I'm constantly receiving number of letters that I could scroll through or perhaps read some of those letters. Yeah, I don't know if many organizations are offering those, but I'm receiving a number of those, and I thought it worth taking a look and sharing some of that information with others if they are just starting out, if it not necessarily have been there, done it. So perhaps I can reduce time frame. What will be required for people to learn, or perhaps if you many people perhaps don't even see those opportunities, right? So there are many different opportunities. What you yourself you should always constantly think of how you can reduce risk. So that would or should be on your mind, right? When you take a look at new opportunities, even if I something I have covered in today's videos, that would be in manufacturing. The risk might be that all the data might be taken away from you. I have taken a look at defense and the risk that I have acknowledged that you might be entering in a contract where you not necessarily be able to enter any other contract. So that there's a risk involved there. I have covered fairness. I thought some of the risky factors might be perhaps ownership of what you would do, or perhaps finance, where they not necessarily give you full finance required of completing a project. Within this video, we're going to be taking a look at pitches for traders in Bristol, city docks, and parks. So those are opportunities available within most of the cities within the UK, in particular perhaps ones that they do have harbors or docks, perhaps, and there would be some of those trading areas where they might have centers. But my lingo would be more geared towards sales and how we can increase sales, right? So not necessarily for general audience. They might consider those places differently, perhaps vibes. Some people might be chasing some of those nice vibes. Myself, I would be looking for hot leads, right? Not necessarily cold, but hot. So there would be within the cities, there would be areas where they would build around good vibes. There would be hot leads where people up there potentially looking to have some fun and spend some money. And within those areas, perhaps there would be traders looking to sell products and services. So within those areas, you can potentially begin if it's not something that you have done. Perhaps it's a good practice or exercise to build some experience. What will be required of you to operate the business, right? Setting up location and operate the business. In particularly if it's something new, it might be challenging, I guess, or exciting. I don't know, depending what you're chasing, right? I'm gonna be taking a look at Bristol within this video, but there is so many different ones, right? And depending on what you would like to do and for how long of the period you might be interested in doing, since there might be different opportunities available for different parts of UK. If we're just looking at UK, right? Some of those opportunities would you might need to make a commitment, and based on how much of the footprint you'll be looking for, right? You perhaps need a lot of space, depending on what kind of operations you might be interested in doing. So there would be perhaps different process. But if anything, let's start small. Start small, and from starting small, we're taking a look at entry level, beginner level. That's where everyone starts, right? How to do on the big scale, we can touch on that later, right? Let's start with the beginner level and progress from there in perhaps tackling a larger problems, how to set up some of those operations and how to tackle some of the bigger problems later. Let's start with the beginner. Perhaps some of the people who haven't done anything and they're interested in how to do it. Location of pitches and how to apply for one. Uh, uh, Concession pitches are areas where you can pay an annual fee and set up your mobile business. These areas are within Bristol Park and green space or city docks. I think back in the day they used to do a lot of trade in those areas, and it's kind of, I guess, good vibes or hot leads that you can find, and potentially people who are willing, interested, and capable of making purchase decisions. Not necessarily cold leads, right? Or people who might be taking a look at what you're looking to sell, but not necessarily purchase anything from you, right? So some work that got into it, right? So it's kind of interesting. There are two types of concession pitches. Long-term concessions, there are a license for a period of 3 years, perhaps a long-term. There's a risk involved there, or perhaps short-term concessions. There are summer pitches and license for up to 6 months or only. They're saying summer, but perhaps since we're entering Christmas or almost Christmas period, right? So perhaps it's something that you yourself might be interested in doing just for 2 weeks. You can ask for 2 weeks, or they might say no, but you can ask. You can ask and see if they might be interested in leasing some of those pitches for shorter periods, right? Themselves, they're looking to maximize the profits, right? So while they're doing that, they might ask you for 5 years if they can. If they can ask you for 20 years. But perhaps you're interested in only perhaps 2 weeks. So you're reducing your risk, right? And they're looking to reduce their own risk. Who should apply? We want to hear from you if you are a local trader with a mobile business or interested in trading around the city, docks, or parks. Anyone who is interested. This is what they actually say. Everyone who's interested. Perhaps a person who understands what he's doing. Perhaps depending on what kind of activity you're looking or the products and services you're looking to sell, you might need to ask for permit, and particularly if you're working with food, perhaps you need to receive some licensing from there. But again, perhaps waste, how waste would be removed. So some of those areas, so reasonable people who are willing to work together. But that's my own interpretation, right? We particularly want to hear from traders who use healthy and seasonal produce and are willing to work towards Bristol eating better world. Oh, okay, so there's no quick snacks rich in carbohydrates, I guess. But I don't know, healthy food. So we perhaps looking for density, low fat, and perhaps high protein density. So, but again, it depends. It depends, but I kind of guess. I can guess what they're looking for, right? Sausages, or where would you? Is that's a healthy food, or that's not necessarily good, but you could eat only once a week. So again, we're also interested in non-food businesses for some of our pitches, such as bike repair, flower, or fruit. So they are, but it's almost food again, but that's not necessarily needs to be limited. But perhaps most of the people who are gonna go into those areas gonna be interested in purchasing all the food. So if you're looking to maximize your profits, perhaps that would be the most optimal place. But again, it depends. Bike repairs, perhaps renting of electric vehicles to drive in that area. You might need to receive a license and nobody else is doing. So perhaps a blue market. But again, you don't want the health and safety, right? You don't want the people driving over one another. So there's a different issues there, set of problems, right? Anyone who trades from one of our pitches will have to commit to a term of contract when they apply. Only next one, only trade with the trading hours of that pitch. And the next one, remove the unit from the site on outside of their trading hours. So perhaps remove that. And I know kind of a little bit of Bristol, right? So perhaps there would be security who can potentially oversee some of those, and you might need to have access to some of those storage units in the worst case. But there might be difference depending on how much of the space you're gonna need and what kind of products and services you're looking to offer. Again, I'm not supporting Bristol Cinema Check for promoting some of the things that you are doing, securing some of the sales. Cinema Check, alright? There are so many interesting people in Bristol. Know of. There might be someone who might be interested in just going after some vibes, right? Play some music, have some fun, perhaps has very unique skills and wants to demonstrate those skills and perhaps raise some capital for his college, which can be very expensive in Bristol, or perhaps rent increased recently in Bristol. So there's a lot of opportunities up there, but you might want to reach out and just in case check with locals if they're okay, and if you need to double check, or when it comes to perhaps it depends if you want to juggle some fire or something, you might need to receive a permit to do that, right? Or just to check if everything's okay. So perhaps there's different things, different opportunities there since we're entering holiday season where everyone can have fun and perhaps look after each other, right? Without getting injured. So that would be a kind of interesting and fun experience for all the people there. Yourself, if you're interested in learning more about the business and how to operate business, how to launch and or start business is not something that you have done. I have published a book just for you to learn as much as you can and or how to structure a business. I would like to classify everything or identify everything in three different areas. So that would be a first phase where you yourself you would be doing a lot of research and trying to understand how to operate business, how to launch it, and where to begin. From that phase, you would progress and actually taking action based on the information that you have found and starting a business, starting a company, and begin earning money. From there, you would progress into perhaps taking some of those resources and allocating in different projects so that could potentially yield returns as well. If it's something that you're interested in, there's going to be a QR code corner and company's website below. Cost, there is no set price for each of the pitch, but if anything, I would highly recommend to reach out to the team and double check with the team just in case you want to do something. Perhaps you just establish a relationship. Perhaps if you yourself you have just one product, so we're talking about entry level, right? If you got only one product and you're interested in selling, perhaps you don't need to have a separate pitch, right? Perhaps you just can ask someone else to have that product and perhaps sell it for you. That's another way how to do it. So you don't need to hire a person, you don't need to hire a pitch or a tent where you're gonna store everything shelves. You don't need to oversee or manage any of that. Perhaps you can share the profit of the product that you're looking to sell. I don't know. So some women might be interested, or men selling a baskets might be interested in selling a bike. So there's so many different things that you can sell, right? If we're talking about physical products, perhaps it's something else that you like to promote there. There's a different avenues there as well. But this video is way too long. If it's something that you're interested in, I'm gonna leave a link in the description. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.